Coming in, if you're a 90s rap, TV, whatever it is, you're a 90s hip hop fan, all of the above, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk about it, about the story of the 90s and what music was brought within the 90s. The 90s was a special era. You know, we had Tupac, we had Biggie, we had, LL Cool J, the GOAT himself. And, we had so many, the Redmans, the Method Man, we had so many of Snoop Dogg. We have so many of Ice Cubes. I mean, the list can go on, but the talent and the dedication that was brought to the 90s within the music and into the early 2000s, where we had artists like 50 Cent and, Ja Rule, Ludacris, Cameron, Mace, so much more. Like, we had so many more artists that brought them to that era after the 90s. It was something about the work ethic and the showmanship. Everything was how the way it was supposed to be. As far as like the care that you saw from the artist, it was displayed within the music, because they left it all either on the stage or they left it all in the booth. And nowadays, we don't have music that connects like the way it should anymore. And it seems as if like the passion that is supposed to be there is not there. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this is the record label's fault that let people that shouldn't even be in the music industry, within the music industry, based off of whether it's social media, of how, popping they may be on social media, versus the actual talent that person can display when it comes down to music. Because social media popping and real life popping is two completely different things. And it's going to show and it's going to tell. And it's been showing and telling throughout the years, because they ignore the people that has the talent within the hip hop, like the Nick Grants, the Vince Staples, the people like that who should be, I feel like, with the message that should be getting pushed more to the forefront and really promoted more, are not. And like the BS when it comes down to sex or anything like that, and there's no like message behind the words and the lyrics with these artists, what they say that's artists, can put up, they have nothing to show for it, if it ain't about sex or drugs or whatever it may be. And the 90s wasn't like that. Because it was a story, it was a message, it was something that make you dance, and at the same time have you thinking. And you ain't even got to do too much of a deep think or a deep thought. You can really connect with the artist displayed, like with Brenda's Have a Baby, like with little girls having with teen pregnancy and things like that going on, with so much going on with that situation. Brenda was an example of that, and Tupac gave you that. Dear Mama, Tupac gave you that when talking about just the gratitude and appreciation he has for his mother. I Get Around, something that a lot of people can relate to, that, are single and they may be just not ready to settle and they just having a good time. Stuff that had a message that can make you dance, something that, that was powerful, and there's so many much other Pac songs that I can list, but we'll be here more than these 11 minutes that I'm, talking about this whole situation between what the 90s era brought, music era brought, versus, the music that we have now. And we don't really have nothing now. Music is really like went down to the drain. And this is like the perfect time when Nas could say, hip hop is dead right now. This would be the perfect time, because when he said it, it was not. It was still at its peak. I think he said that probably like in 2006. But this will be the perfect time, because there's no labels, there's nobody that really in the label that know what they're doing and don't really know how to push an artist with actual talent versus social media buzz. Don't really have PR teams, don't even exist anymore. It's so much more, it's so many things that doesn't exist that used to exist, that used to have some sort of type of a leeway help when it comes down to, pushing actual artists in the 90s and into the early and mid 2000s. Things like that really mattered. You know, it really helped with the crowd engagement as far as especially with, fans that didn't know about this artist, that wasn't fans before, but now they are fans thanks to the marketing team and, the right record label to be signed under, because a lot of record labels don't really know talent. That isn't just a thing that just started, after the mid 2000s. It existed in the 90s too, but it was so heavily focused on talent in the 90s and early 2000s. It was focused on that because social media wasn't, it wasn't a thing till after 106 and Park got canceled. And I think that was in maybe '04. No. 106 and Park was still going on for. That was probably '08, '09 when social media started taking place. 106 and Park got canceled. And that's when things started really going down to the path to where, okay, let's not focus on the talent anymore. Let's focus on how many followers they got. Let's focus on, how many likes, how many views this person contribute on their page. That's the person who we're going to give a shot. That's the person who we're going to make our next superstar. Silly stuff like that instead of, actually going down, and just digging under the surfaces of, what the artist what this person can bring as far as talent-wise, as far as message-wise, as far as showmanship when they're on the stage, as far as what can they do to move this crowd other than just the song? Can they move the crowd just based off their aura? Do they have an aura? Do they have something that they can bring to the table that's going to keep these fans, in tune when it comes down to them as a person, as well as an artist? If they're trying to pursue, having longevity, in the music game. Once that stopped being an issue and a focus, that's when we start losing all the respect that hip hop and music once had, and it was just slowly just draining. And they closed the gate, they closed the doors in the faces of the artists, on most of the artists who did have a message, because they didn't want the message to get out, because they don't want black people spreading, a message that can uplift each other. They want us to, continuously talk about, shooting, murders, all the bullshit that gets played out, and things that can, knock down or decrease the black population. That's, the people that they want from the hood to be able to be in the forefront of the face of what you call music now, because they don't want black people to continue to be in I don't want to say a threat to society, but a powerful tool to society that can help increase and then to bring more of us, together. And that ain't gonna do nothing but, increase the black population itself, because people gonna keep having kids, and it's gonna be a reason more to have kids because we are coming together as one. So that's gonna motivate in some way for more black families to keep bringing more black babies into this world. And that's what they don't want, because they want to keep knocking it down by promoting negativity and bullshit that's killing our community. And that's something that Pop was always, bringing about. That's why his interviews were so much, powerful, within it, versus what he was saying in his songs. It's the same thing you was getting in interviews, except for without an instrumental, without a beat to it. So things like that has gotten lost. The passion, all that, the politics and everything started to come more into play once they got a hold of Suge Knight and locked him up, because he was doing too much. He was uplifting and bringing too many black people together, and they were making money, and they had to put a stop to that. Any black record label, they found a way to sabotage and just destroy because it was becoming too powerful and it was uplifting and bringing too many people, too many black people together, especially black rappers, which they don't want, and I repeat, don't want coming together because the whole goal for them is to, have black rappers more dead than alive. So when you got a whole record label that's owned by somebody that's black, it's going to keep things stronger together, right? And that's what they don't want. So when you got that, the black record labels, fading away in the midst of the winds, and you got a record label that's focusing more on the negative and finding, young cats from the hood that don't have the talent within, rap to have a message on what they want to say, and more of things that they want to do or try to put out in a negative way to, keep everything just on a downward spiral. So, hip hop itself and the music game itself will continuously be going down the wrong path and the wrong track, and that's what's been going on. But the 90s was the powerful tool that kept everything uplifted and alive and everything together. That's all I'm saying. Sensei Reality TV, I appreciate y'all. Long live Tupac Amaru Shakur. I see y'all in the next Rebound Tip. Y'all take it easy. One love. Peace.